Ziggys on July 21, 1996. This is the 10th annual Piedmont Blues Preservation Society's Talent Contest. And tonight we're here with Johnny Whitlock. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Now, I know you as, let's see, Johnny Whitlock and the Bolt Cutters. This group that you're playing with now in the Piedmont Blues Preservation Society's Talent Contest is called Johnny Whitlock and the Blues Caucus. What's the difference?
The difference is when I was with the Bolt Cutters, I didn't feel that I was being exposed enough, wasn't doing the kind of material I wanted to do, so I decided to put together my own group, which is what you see now.
Tell us about the members in this new Blues Caucus group.
Okay, on the lead guitar we have Max Drake, which I think is the best guitarist in these parts. And we also have Steve Blake on tenor saxophone and alto sax, which, as you can see, is the best around here too. And we have Russ on drums. He's one of the best skin men around. And then we have Brian Smith on the other guitar, rhythm guitar, and he's really good. And we use Bobby Kelly on bass, as well as Chris Carroll on bass. And we have 3 different bassists, as well as James Vaughn. It's whenever they are available, because these guys play with other groups as well. So I have to catch when catch can, as you say.
Lord, you make a rabbit hug a hound. And when it's cold and wintry outside, Lord, I love the way you lay those big warm legs on me. Those big warm legs on me. Can I try to be like that old honest woman? I want to be all that I can be.
I started listening to the blues when I was just knee-high to a grasshopper, because my mother used to play a lot of the old orange-colored records with Bessie Smith, Lightning Hopkins, another guy called Lonnie Smith. And I remember because they used to make me so depressed. I just thought the blues was so sad, I didn't even like listening to them at the time. And then when I went to high school, they thought I had a good second bass voice, and they put me in the Glee Club. And as a result of that, I got a lot of solo work in the Glee Club. And we started a band in high school called the Rhythm Kids at James B. Dudley High School. And we played throughout the Carolinas, both North and South, and Virginia. Many of the high school dances, they used to have a lot of cotillions at that time, proms, and a lot of the college dances, Bennett College, A&T, etc. And then I graduated from college and I went to New York. I have a degree in psychology. In fact, I have my master's. I went to New York and I worked locally in the nightclubs around there for about 2 years. But there was so much drugs and so much underhandedness in trying to sign people to dummy contracts where you wouldn't make a dime until I got fed up and just quit. In fact, I stayed off of it for about 30 years. And then when my father got sick and I moved back to North Carolina to take care of him, I asked around about where was the live music, and they told me a place on High Point Road, which is no longer there, called Offers. I went in there one Sunday night, bored to death, and they had the Bow Cutters playing in there. And MC, who was MCing the show, was with a young lady that knew I used to sing, and they called me up. And I said, man, I don't know anything. You know, I haven't done anything in a while. And so I went up and I did a blues shuffle, and they were so impressed. I never will forget David Bowden said, give me your phone number. We're going to start something different, make it easier. And about 2 months later, they called. We started rehearsal, and they told me we only do the blues because I didn't know many blues because I was doing jazz and the standard ballads before. I had to write a lot of my tunes. So I've written quite a bit of what you heard today and what you hear tonight.
What year was that at James B. Dudley High School that you graduated?
I graduated in 1951. Went in the Army, came out in 54. Was at A&T from 54 to 58.
Well, what do you think about this Piedmont Blues talent contest? Are you having a good time?
I'm having a real ball. In fact, you know, I've been on your judges panel for a couple of years, and I enjoyed it then. And I like getting exposed because I feel like I can learn from anybody who's performing. So I pay very close attention to everybody who's performing up there.
Do you have any particular favorite blues artists?
Yeah, Joe Williams.
How could I tell? How could I? And you know he's still going strong. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I think it was I was in college, and he came out with Count Basie with Every Day. And a lot of my friends came and said, man, did you make a record with Count Basie? I said, no. Yeah. And I said, no. He said, you got to listen to this guy. He sounds so much like it. And when I listened to him and the way he breathes and phrases and pitch, he's got perfect pitch. I just enjoyed sitting back listening to him. So I kind of patterned myself, his style, the way he does things. And I try to be laid back just like he is.
Well, I must tell you, when I first heard you, I honestly thought not only Joe Williams, but I heard some Big Joe Turner in there too.
That's what another lady told me, yeah.
Old folks get back from knobbing corn. Young picnics get back from sucking. Old folks get back from sitting around. Young folks get back from making love. I said, big leg woman, big leg woman. Oh, please pull down your gown. Cause you got something to mama. You make a rabbit mother. The way you wear your hair, just to let me know you're there. Like the way you move, Lord, you keep in such a sexy groove. Like the way you stand, baby, you make me feel so grand. But most of all, I love you when you love. But most of all, I love you when you love. But most of all, I love you when you love. Yeah, but most of all, I love you when you love. But most of all, I love you when you love. But most of all, I love you when you love. Oh yeah! The way you move around, Lord, you're the finest lady in town. Like your sweet, sweet lips, crazy about your sexy hips. Like the way you hold your drink, crazy about the way you think. I like the way you prance, crazy about the way you dance. Like the way you stroll, even like the way you get told. Like the way you move, you keep in such a sexy groove. But most of all, I love you when you love. But most of all, I love you when you love. But most of all, I love you when you love. morning, I had tears rolling down my face. When I woke up this morning, I had tears rolling down my face. When I reached over in the bed beside me, baby, you were not in your place. I'm gonna pack up your bags, have them sitting by the door. Gonna pack up your bags, gonna have them sitting by the door. Not gonna take any more of your jive. No way, no way, no more. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up. Mama, sit down on Daddy's knee. I said, come here, pretty baby, and sit down on Daddy's knee. Need to have a talk with you. Need to let you know what's going on with me. I used to love you, baby. Used to love you with all my heart. Yes, I used to love you, baby. Used to love you with all my heart. And it didn't take me very long to find out that I wasn't very, very smart. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up, I get it up, I get it up, I get it up, I get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up and get it up all night long. I get it up. Thank you.
What is it that you would like young people particularly to learn from the history of the blues?
They need to understand, number one, that blues is the father of all music that's in our country. In fact, it's the only culture I think we have, blues and jazz is an outgrowth of blues. And it all started because when they brought the slaves over, they separated them so they wouldn't have a means of dialogue. and that would make it more difficult for them to escape because they had no way of communicating. So they started out in the cotton fields just humming, and that gave birth to the spirituals as well as the blues. And it talked about their misery and their suffering, and the only therapy they could get was to share it in song. And I think once they understand that part of it and sit down and really listen, it's more to blues than just what they hear. Everybody, all of the young people think it's a sad kind of thing, like I did, but it's a real happy type music.
It can be all.
Right.
Tell us about the field hollers, how they communicated that way.
Well, first thing they did, they started out humming because everybody could understand what was going on humming. Why, you know, they came from a culture where there were drums and a lot of humming and chanting and dancing and stuff like that. That's where we get the chant from in our music. And I think when they started to do that, they developed out of what they've heard from their masters their own type of language. And oftentimes they would split the verbs and that kind of thing and probably wouldn't pronounce the words like they're supposed to be, but they had a way of getting across their message to each other. And they would oftentimes sing in front of the master about how they were going to escape, and he didn't even understand what was going on. Right.
Well, Johnny Whitlock, it's been a pleasure to spend this time with you this afternoon. I hope you have very good luck this evening in the contest, and the best of luck to you in the future with Johnny Whitlock and the Blues Caucus.
Well, thank you so much. I've enjoyed it, and it's been my pleasure being here. Thank you.
Take care.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the winner of the 1996, the 10th annual Amateur Talent Competition. The band is going to be going to Memphis, Tennessee, City Stage, the Bull Durham Blues Festival, and the Carolina Light Blues Festival. This year's winners, Johnny Whitlock and the Blues Caucus.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. My father always told me hard work would pay off. But you know, when you win something, doing something you love to do, that's another reward. I've already won when I came up here to perform for you and you enjoyed me. That was my greatest reward. Thank you very much. I know my baby. Little girl is gonna jump and shout. I know my baby, sweet mama, she's gonna jump and shout. When the train rolls up and my man comes walking out. Yes, I've been gone, I've been gone. But now I'm coming back. Yes, I've been gone so long, honey. But now I'm coming back. And I've been gone so long, pretty mama, until I just might not know just how to act. I may come by train, might take a plane.